Reddit has this very specific disease where everyone talks like they just got promoted to senior truth manager. And I don't even mean Reddit is always wrong. Sometimes Reddit is right. Sometimes the random guy with the anime profile picture and 90,000 comment karma actually does know what he's talking about. That's part of the problem. Reddit has just enough smart people to make everyone else start using the smart person voice. You write something simple, and suddenly someone appears from the walls like a fact-checking rat. You're wrong, not I disagree, not maybe there's another way to see it, not even I think, just you're wrong, followed by 3 paragraphs written with the confidence of a man who has never doubted a thought in his life. And then other people show up, and they don't even respond to what you said anymore. They respond to the version of you the first guy created. If the first guy decides you're stupid, the thread starts treating you like you're stupid. If the first guy decides you're arrogant, now everyone is correcting your attitude. If the first guy decides you're secretly self-promoting, suddenly the whole room becomes a small court hearing about your motives. That's Reddit. One person rings the bell, and the village arrives with pitchforks, citations, and mild social anxiety disguised as expertise. And to be fair, this is not only Reddit. The whole internet has this problem. But Reddit has a special flavor of it. Twitter is angry. TikTok is emotional. Instagram is fake calm. YouTube comments are either 12 years old or writing from a bunker. But Reddit talks like it has reviewed the documents. Reddit has the tone of someone adjusting their glasses before explaining why your entire life is built on a false premise. And that tone is what makes it funny, because half the time the topic is not even serious. Someone could post, I think this sandwich looks good, and within 10 minutes there's a guy explaining that actually, based on the bread density and regional sauce distribution, this is a deeply misleading sandwich. Then another person comes in like, as someone who worked in sandwich-adjacent logistics for 9 months, I can confirm this is not how sandwiches work. And then the comment gets 800 upvotes, not because it's true necessarily, because it sounds like truth wearing a jacket. That's the thing Reddit understands better than almost any website. Truth has a voice. And once people learn the voice, they can wear it. There's a way to sound right online. Short sentences, controlled irritation, a little bit of condescension, maybe starting with no, because apparently beginning your comment with no makes you sound like a disappointed professor. Then you explain something with total certainty, even if you are guessing, especially if you are guessing. And people believe tone, they really do. If you say something softly, with uncertainty, people treat it like an opinion. If you say it with a clean enough rhythm and a little contempt, people treat it like a correction. Reddit is full of corrections pretending to be knowledge. That's not the same as being smart. It's the performance of smart. Because being smart is slow and annoying. You have to know things. You have to doubt yourself. You have to consider context. You have to say boring things like, it depends and I'm not sure. But performing smart is easier. You just need the posture. You need to write like you're tired of explaining this to people. That's the secret. The Reddit expert voice always sounds tired, like they have personally spent centuries watching humanity misunderstand this exact topic. They don't just answer, they dissent, and the website rewards it. Reddit is not just people being annoying in isolation. It's a machine that turns certainty into status. You see a comment with a bunch of upvotes, and before reading it properly, your brain goes, all right, this must be the correct one, because it has points. And points are basically truth, if you're tired. The first confident reply sets the weather of the thread. If it's helpful, the thread becomes helpful. If it's smug, the thread becomes smug. If it misunderstands you but sounds clean enough, congratulations, now the entire room is misunderstanding you in the same direction. That's the hive mind people talk about. Not that every Redditor literally thinks the same. They don't. Reddit is millions of people arguing in different rooms about whether a chair is good. But once a thread starts moving in one direction, everyone can feel which tone is winning, and people adapt, because nobody wants to be the idiot defending the downvoted guy, so they pile on, or they add a correction to the correction, or they quote one sentence and act like that sentence is the whole person, or they say this under the comment that already said everything, because sometimes the human spirit just wants to become an upvote with legs. And once the group has decided what you are, it's basically over. You're not a person anymore. You're a role. You are the guy who didn't understand. The arrogant poster. The fake deep guy. the self-promoter, the person who used the wrong word. And now everyone is allowed to talk to you through that role. That's what makes Reddit feel so insane sometimes. It's not just disagreement. Disagreement is fine. The problem is when a group of strangers collectively invents a worse version of you, then starts lecturing that version like it's tied to a chair. And the funny part is that they usually think they're being rational. That's Reddit's favorite costume. Rationality. Everything is logical. Everything is objective. Everything is just stating facts. But somehow these facts always arrive with the emotional warmth of a parking ticket. People will be rude in this polished way and then act confused when you notice the rudeness. Because technically they didn't insult you. They just said your argument was fundamentally incoherent, your framing was dishonest, your conclusion was embarrassing, and your post was a waste of everyone's time. But no offense. Reddit has mastered the art of being mean while holding a clipboard. And again, sometimes the correction is deserved. Sometimes someone really is wrong. Sometimes a person posts something lazy or misleading and someone corrects it well. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the reflex, the hunger to correct, the way people wait for a small mistake so they can finally become useful. Because correcting someone online gives you a tiny role. For a second, you are not just another person scrolling in bed. You are the adult in the room, the expert, the reasonable one, the guy who saw through it, the person who was not fooled. That feeling is addictive, and Reddit is built out of it. A lot of the site runs on this tiny status exchange where one person says something imperfect, and another person gets to stand above it. And the correction doesn't even have to be important. Actually, the less important it is, the more Reddit it feels. Someone uses a word slightly wrong, and here comes the language squad. Someone makes a casual generalization, and here comes the nuance police, except the nuance police somehow has no nuance. Someone says, everyone does this, and someone replies, not everyone, as if they have just personally saved civilization from collapse. Yes, obviously not every single human on Earth does the thing. Thank you for protecting the literal edge case. The village can sleep tonight. There's this weird kind of person online who treats normal human speech like a contract. They don't listen for meaning. They scan for loopholes. They read your sentence like a lawyer trying to destroy a witness. And Reddit is full of that energy. Not because Reddit users are uniquely evil. I don't think they are. I think Reddit trains people to talk that way. The site rewards the comment that looks the most correct from far away. Not the kindest. Not the most generous. Not even always the most accurate. The one that sounds like it has the floor. That's why you get these comments that feel like miniature essays written by someone who only read the title. The confidence is fully loaded. The understanding is still buffering. And you can see it when a thread becomes about something nobody actually said. The original post will be like, I think this video is kind of deep. And suddenly people are debating whether the word deep has been ruined by society, whether the creator is pretentious, whether the post violates the sacred ethics of sharing content, whether this is evidence of media illiteracy, and whether OP is secretly a marketing department wearing skin. Brother, it was a video. But Reddit does not simply receive a sentence. Reddit processes it through the department of being correct online. And once that machine starts, it doesn't want the simple version. The simple version is boring. The machine needs implications, motives, a hidden flaw, someone to be wrong in a way that makes everyone else feel slightly cleaner. That's the part I find interesting. Reddit doesn't only correct facts, it corrects vibes. You can be technically fine, but if your tone smells wrong, the thread will find you. If you sound too confident, they'll humble you. If you sound too excited, they'll cool you down. If you sound too sincere, someone will call it cringe. If you sound like you care, someone will explain why caring is actually the problem. And if you try to defend yourself, good luck. Because defending yourself on Reddit often makes you look guiltier. You clarify one thing, they find another, you say, that's not what I meant, and someone replies, then you should have said what you meant. You say, it's not that deep, and someone says, clearly it is, since you're replying. It's like fighting fog with a broom. At some point you realize the argument is no longer about the thing. It's about who gets to define reality in the room. That's why Reddit talks like it knows everything. Because knowing is status. Certainty is status. Being the first person to name the real issue is status. And Reddit is full of people trying to win tiny invisible status games while pretending they are just passionate about accuracy. That's the funniest lie online. I'm just correcting misinformation. Are you, or did someone phrase something imperfectly and now your nervous system has activated? Because there's a difference between caring about truth and needing to be seen as the person who delivered it. And I think a lot of online correction is the second one wearing the clothes of the first. You can feel it in the way people write. There's no curiosity, no attempt to understand, no, what do you mean by that? No, maybe I'm reading this wrong. Just verdicts. Reddit loves verdicts. Bad take, wrong, cope. Media literacy is dead. Tell me you don't understand X without telling me. This is not the own you think it is. These are not conversations. They are little stamps, tiny social punishments. People pressing a label onto you so the room knows what to do with you. And once the label sticks, everyone can relax. No need to think anymore. The thread has decided. That's why the site feels so certain all the time. Uncertainty doesn't perform well. Uncertainty is slow. Uncertainty doesn't get the quick laugh, the quick win, the clean dunk. Uncertainty sounds weak in a room full of people trying to sound finished. So people stop saying, I think. They say, the reality is. They stop saying, maybe. They say, this is literally just. They stop saying, from my experience. They say, people like you always. And suddenly, everyone is a sociologist, psychologist, economist, relationship counselor, media analyst, legal expert, and moral philosopher, depending on which thread they opened after breakfast. That's why Reddit is funny. It's a website full of people who know just enough to become dangerous in public. And I say this as someone who uses the internet too. I'm not above it. I've done the same thing. Everyone has. You read 2 comments, absorb the tone, and suddenly you're writing like you personally built the topic. The internet does that to people. It makes secondhand knowledge feel like personality. But Reddit is especially good at turning borrowed certainty into a community event. One person says something with confidence, another person repeats it, another adds a correction, another adds a joke, another adds a moral frame. And by the end, the thread feels like a single organism with 20 usernames. That's the hive mind. Not one brain, more like one mood. And the mood is usually, you're wrong and we're being very normal about it. That should probably be carved into the servers, but there is a reason it happens. Reddit gives people something they don't always get in real life. A chance to be unquestionably right in front of others. Real life is messy. Real conversations are awkward. People interrupt. Tone matters. You can see the other person's face. You have to deal with the fact that they are human. Online, especially on Reddit, you can remove all that. You can reply to a sentence, not a person. A sentence. You can take the weakest part of it, isolate it, correct it, and leave feeling like you improved the world. No need to understand the whole human behind it. No need to be generous. No need to ask why they said it that way. Just find the flaw, strike the flaw, collect approval. It's efficient. It's also kind of ugly because people are not arguments. People are messy. They exaggerate. They phrase things badly. They use words loosely. They say everyone when they mean a lot of people. They say deep when they mean this made me feel something. They say insane when they mean kind of annoying. Normal speech is full of imprecision because humans are not legal documents. But online, imprecision becomes a crime scene, and Reddit loves a crime scene. That's why the site can feel hostile even when people are technically being helpful. Because the help comes with this little smell of punishment. Like, yes, they answered your question, but they also made sure you regretted asking it. And maybe that's the deeper problem. Not that Reddit talks like it knows everything, but that knowing everything becomes a way to avoid being kind. Kindness online is risky. It can make you look naive. It can make you look like you didn't catch the flaw. But correcting someone, that feels safe. That feels strong. That puts you above. So people choose above over and over, and the whole site becomes a tower of people standing on each other's sentences. I don't think the answer is never correct anyone. That would be stupid. Correction matters. Accuracy matters. Bad information matters. Sometimes people need to be told they're wrong. But there's a difference between correction as care and correction as performance. Correction as care sounds different. It leaves room. It explains without trying to humiliate. It doesn't need an audience to clap. It doesn't turn a small mistake into a character flaw. Correction as performance wants a crowd. Reddit is very good at the second one. So yeah, Reddit talks like it knows everything, not because it does, because the site rewards the voice of knowing more than the act of understanding. Sometimes truth wins, sometimes kindness wins, sometimes someone actually explains something well and the whole thread becomes better because of it. But a lot of the time, the room just wants a clean angle, someone to blame, someone to correct, someone to laugh at. someone to stand above for a second. And if you happen to be the person under the microscope that day, good luck. The inspectors have arrived. They have read half your sentence. They have found the real issue. They are typing. They know everything. And you, unfortunately, are wrong.